Hello, if we haven't met before or come across each other before, my name is Inoue Matahao, founder of Pastor.net Care, also known as PNC. In this video, I will talk specifically about how we can be more strategic in our ministry planning and the use of technology during this COVID-19 season. So I invite you to stay with me until the end because this might be what you have been waiting to hear. But you might be wondering, who am I? Let me start first by introducing myself and who I am not. I am not a TV producer. I'm not a technology savvy. I'm not a marketing guru. I'm not an entrepreneur. Firstly, I am a Tongan. It's probably the least expected and respected identity of me. And if you think that Tongan only talk and no rugby, then think again. Because I am thankful and proud to be born Tongan. Because I grew up in a culture where community life is well embraced and celebrated. And people gathering and connection is important, much more than organization. I am an ordained pastor and have been in ministry for nearly 20 years. I am a practical theologian, doctor of ministry from Fuller Theological Seminary, with my thesis, Pastoral Care using online communication. I am also a first-year higher degree researcher, PhD at the Swinburne University of Technology in the Faculty of Business and Law, working towards establishing a faith-based research platform targeting mental health and well-being. Key focus include exploring the role of the church in public health and the impact of a collaboration between the two to promote healthy community in which we as a church belong to. Do we have a place for mission in our broader community, extending the ministry of compassion, Jesus' compassion, through our public health system and well-being? And are they effective? Well, I said it before and I say it again. We all agree that our lives have changed, not because we want to, but because the unprecedented circumstances outside of our control. COVID-19 has suddenly interrupted our ministry, our work, our weekly routine, and it impacted our lives in many ways. It took us away from what we were called to do and ordained, that is, to be with people and to life together. And in some ways, those purposes are greatly challenged or being defeated. Yes, we might not speak of it that way, but let's be honest. We were not ordained to do ministry from home on a lengthy period of time. Our people were not created to be locked away and separated from each other. As the body of Christ, we were created for community, for fellowship, and to be connected, but not isolated. And for many of us pastors, out of panic, which is normally to anyone, which is normal to all of us, we rushed to find solutions and online tools available and cheap, knowing that our finances could be affected. We go to social media because it's great. And it is understandable because many of us did not really plan for anything like this to happen. We are glad that there are tools available. Many of the tools that we normally use were specifically catered for what we do when we come together during the week and on Sunday. And no doubt at all, they are very helpful indeed. But unfortunately, in our current ministry context and challenges, they are not as helpful. So we start reaching out to find what is available in the marketplace, who is using what, and then we ended up with many options. If not, ended up with one that might not work as well as we like, nor do they serve a wider, deeper, and more effective purposes. Let's pause for a moment and think about this. Are we strategic about the way we use new technology? Is it long-term or longer-term solution? What happened when COVID-19 is over? Were my people coming back to church, or they are comfortable watching live streaming services online from home? Would they continue to watch the live stream when some of the restriction is lifted and everyone's allowed to go to the park and go to the beach during the lockdown period? In fact, this is the question thoughtfully asked by my senior pastor just after our first Sunday live streaming. A very appropriate question. Are we approaching technology as a temporary solution, or is there more to it? Should we be more strategic in how we use technology and how it can continue to make a difference when COVID-19 is over? In response to that, I want to ask this simple question that I want you to ask yourself too when you consider strategic planning for a healthier transition following COVID-19. 6 simple questions. Firstly, do we have a solution that is reliable and trustworthy? Do we have a solution that is cost-effective? Do we have a solution that is ministry effective? Do we have a solution that was built specifically for COVID-19 ministry context? Do we have a solution that will be helpful for a healthier transition when COVID-19 is over? Do we have a solution that has all the above and is ready now? 6 questions that I want you to ponder. And let me go through and briefly comment on each of these 6 points. Firstly, do we have a solution that is reliable? Pastor Netgear has been built, tested, and utilized in the last 7 years. PNC is a secure online platform built on trustworthy sources with lots of security measures in place, with a trusted data storage organization, Microsoft, widely used by a world big organization. Secondly, Pastor Netgear is very cost-effective, affordable, competitive, and guess what? Right now, it is for you free. I can guarantee you that the benefit will outweigh the cost. Thirdly, Pastor Netgear is cost-effective, but is it effective at serving ministry purpose? First of all, I want to say this. You might not find a ministry tool like PNC, a software solution that does all and more. You give me a solution and I will compare that with you. But let's put that aside for a moment. PNC focused on people, not the organization. It was initiated with the need of the people as the primary focus. PNC is a tool for your members to access pastoral care, to make inquiry, to ask for help, to connect with others, and much, much more. And the pastors in the organization are secondary. Here is a tool to meet those practical needs. PNC ensures that no one's forgotten. Is that effective enough? And of course, there is more. Let me answer the 4th question. And I'm glad that you asked that question. This is probably the most important question of all for me, and I hope it is for you as well. And if you have been saying no and unsure so far, I hope that the answer to this question will change your perspective. Was PNC built for COVID-19 for a time like this? Let me share this with you so I can put this into perspective. God put this vision in my heart 7 years ago when I started to prepare my project focus for my DMin thesis, as I said before. And you're given 2 options to choose from. Firstly, write an academic paper. Secondly, write a ministry-focused paper. And let me tell you what, it wasn't a hard decision because I don't want to write an academic paper because I'm not a wise academia, nor do I ever claim to be. I'm a pastor. I'm a practical theologian, and I didn't want a book with information that sits on the table. I wanted something practical and contextual to my ministry and who I am as a pastor. I was asked to do 3 things in considering the thesis. Firstly, go through my previous coursework in my DMin. Secondly, study your ministry context and challenges within it that you face. Thirdly, what is happening around in the world. And after taking some time to discern this with myself, with my discerning peers and group and my supervisor, I ended up writing my doctoral thesis, Pastoral Care Using Online Communication. You see, I went to Fuller not to get a degree, but because of the ministry challenges I faced at the time and still is and will always be. I went there because of the person that I am passionate about caring and loving people. I went there because I want to be equipped so I can help others, other pastors, and those in a caring role. And here are just a few things I want to draw from my thesis, just to put things in perspective and give you to grasp some kind of idea as what PNC is. You see, people are missing out on care because we don't have a system, a follow-up system to catch the need from falling in a hole. So theologically, the pastoral net care, the net in PNC is the metaphor of the fishing net, catching more because Jesus was on the boat in Jesus' command. People are missing out on care because they are bound at home with chronic illness. They're living at a far distance away from where everybody are. They are busy and always on the go. They're not connected they are not connected to a church. And when they're in need, they don't know who to turn to. All of that is about social isolation, distancing. And PNC was built on a mission of the sending one, where we read in Luke 4:19-21, they talk about Jesus, the sending servant of God, the Son of God. PNC has a mission, and the assignment is to take pastoral care to where people are. It is Jesus' model. He went out to where the people are and ministered to them. I want you to think about it this way. Back to the very story of Noah's Ark. When the flood came that day, Noah and his family, under the instruction from God, have already done the hard work in preparing the ark. All they had to do was to board the ark, but then the ark had to close at some point. Please don't get me wrong. I don't want to claim that this is the tool that will save the church. And for those who don't get in, will drown. Far from it. All I'm saying is this: PNC is, and it was, an instruction I sensed from God, a prophetic vision that a church may need this technological ark called PNC to help them in this time like this. It is God who provided the foundation of PNC, the knowledge, the skills, the wisdom, the finance to build a system for the church. Yes, for you and I, and for your people. And it's for that reason that I share this with you and willing to help you and recommend PNC to you. The fifth point, PNC was already an existing solution before COVID-19. It's not something that we're going to rush in and try to build and work on. It was already there. It was already used to serve a purpose. And PNC is right here, is here now to assist you in serving your people. And it will be there to effectively carry you, your ministry and your people back to where you started, you came from, through a natural process and healthier transition pathway. And perhaps continue serving your people with better, if not improved strategy already in place. And I'll explain that in another time. And the last, and probably the one that you've been waiting for the most, the question you have been waiting for, is it available now? Yes, it is available right now. And if that is still not enough of good news, using the analogy of the Noah's Ark, Pastoral Net Care is willing to open the door for you to access this tool free now, to access the setup free now, to access the online training free now, to access the ongoing support free, and to access the regular webinar free. That's happening daily. If you have listened to the end, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope that it was helpful for you. We are here for you, and let's get to work now. Bring your team along and join us in our daily webinar or contact us, and I look forward to meeting you personally online. Let's get to work and start caring for our people and love them in a deeper way. And God bless you all.